It goes out saying that Africa is the origin of storytelling, and now more than ever, the world is looking to us for all the magic. The question is, however, when they come knocking on your door, will they find you ready, or will they find you waiting and sleeping on yourself? My dear friends, this is the 5-Minute Call with yours truly, Tumelo Candice Modiselle, and today we're diving into and answering one of the most infamous questions. How do I become an actor? How do I enter the world of entertainment? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you are watching for the very first time, please join us. Take a seat, get comfortable, take some notes, grab your popcorn, do whatever it is that you need to do to absorb all this magic that I will be sharing. But also, in the spirit of sharing, please feel free to subscribe, share with your friends, and let them know that this is the home and the hub of all things entertainment. In the previous episode, I was sharing the sentiments of exactly what this channel is about, which is highlighting and creating spaces of information and knowledge sharing when it comes to all things storytelling, whether you want to be an actor, whether you want to be a musician, because that in and of itself is a form of storytelling, a writer, the many facets of this industry. This is where you can find all the information. And one of the most asked questions, I get asked this in my DMs, I get people stopping me, mostrating, how do I become an entertainer, and how do I enter the entertainment industry? Very briefly, how did I get into the entertainment industry? I was always a very huge fan and also a lover of entertaining my family, whether it be through impersonations and just hop-ha-pa. Very short disclaimer, if you are a parent and you're watching this, please stop discouraging your children from being energetic, lively, and vibrant, because you never know what light you are extinguishing within them because they start to believe that they're too much. That was just a little bit of a segue. Back to the point. How did I venture into this world of entertainment? So, as I mentioned, I was bold, I was loud, I was very talkative, and I'm so blessed to also have a mother that supported all of that, but also created spaces for me to fully express myself. Now, the talent may be one thing, but it's really the opportunities that set us all the way aside, and also the discipline that is needed to carry you through the industry. I was very fortunate enough to go to schools where there were spaces that I could be part of plays and house plays and theater productions, which I was doing from the tender age of 10. And if I must reveal my age, we're now 17 years going on to 18 years of doing all the craziness on the screen, on the stage, in your homes, in certain spaces. I'm a very huge advocate for education, especially if it comes to anything that you're extremely passionate about. Some people have been privileged enough to start off early. Maybe they went to some academy and they started off in the world of drama from a very young age, and other people may have not had the same privileges. I am, however, saying start where you are with what you have. Do the research. I know there are a lot of community theaters that create spaces for young artists to express themselves. Whether you're going online and finding different acting classes that are made available by various institutions, or going all the way through, again, if you're privileged enough, and studying it in your tertiary education. I am one person who is a living manifestation and a testimony of an honors degree. Yes, honors degree in a BADA, Bachelor of Dramatic Arts, that I acquired at the University of Witwatersrand in 2016. You've probably heard me say the word audition a couple of times, and what that is when you are invited by a casting director to see if you fit the profile of the character and if you have the chops. Do you have the talent? Do you have the skill to fit precisely what it is that they're looking for? Auditions may vary. They're in-person auditions where you're given a script and you have to deliver the script as per the desires of the casting director. Ensure that you're prepared. that you know the lines and you make it uniquely yours. Trust yourself in that moment. You can get nervous, but Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts said it. Nerves are always affirming you that pride hasn't gotten hold of you. So, it's good to be nervous. It means that it's important to you. In addition to that, about auditions, there's something called an open call. So we've seen some of our faves do that, the likes of Mandla N as well as Lesedi Matsunyane Ferguson. They recently put out an open call. Mandla N put one out for Deep City, where an unearthing of incredible talent was witnessed. Award-winning performers. And all he did was go on Instagram Live and say, "What do you got? Show me." And they showed all the way up and all the way out. Lesedi Matsunyane Ferguson recently put out a casting call for 4 new characters that will be on The Queen. She detailed all the character briefs, Zulu speaking, different guys, different talents, different characteristics, but show up, read the script, deliver, and submit that self-tape. Which also brings me to the very last audition that also exists, which are self-tapes. In the life and times of COVID-19, where we have to perform from the comfort of our homes, we've been submitting a lot of self-tapes. Not easy at all, but what that means is starting with what you have. So, camera, phone, you delivering the script and the dialogue to camera. Not at the camera, to camera. If you want to know more about it, stay tuned to this channel. I'll inform you more. As I mentioned, start where you are with what you have. Perhaps you're from a community of people that love the arts, that want to find spaces where they can express themselves accordingly and flex their talents. Oscar Emela, do not wait for the day for those people to start the community theatre plays. Don't wait for those people to open the doors for you. Look around you, ask the questions, create the spaces, create the work. It starts with you. Stop waiting. I start off the video by asking, will they find you ready? One of the key elements of success is that talent meets opportunity. And sometimes opportunity meets the unprepared. The real question is, would you rather be prepared without the opportunity or have the opportunity and not be prepared? Fundamentally, that's for you to ask yourself that. A lot of the time when I get asked, Candice, how do I become an actor? Candice, I want to be on Generations The Legacy. Candice, I believe I can write. I believe I'm an incredible storyteller. Oftentimes, my initial response is, get an agent. And I know a lot of the time it's easier said than done, and people don't really understand exactly what an agent is. So ultimately, an agent is a person that liaises on your behalf. It's a person that really stands in the gap, that provides the information to you, that creates the access for you, and is a fundamental tool in you growing your career. And I feel like these are 3 vital reasons why you should have an agent. Number 1, connection. So, how this industry normally works. If I, Candice Modiselle, a producer, have a series and I'm looking for a black woman aged 16 to 18, Sotho speaking, to play the character of Dimakatso, the first thing I'm going to do is issue that information. It's called a character brief to the agent. So there are a list of agents that we have available in our South African landscape, and they are privy to all this information. So here's the show that I'm shooting called The Back Door. I'm looking for the character, Dimakatso. I'm going to send the character brief of exactly what this character is about. So she is sweet, she is naive, she is soft-spoken, she is vibrant when she's around her cousins that she doesn't always get to see, and that's the brief that will get sent to the agent. The agent will then send that information to the artists that they feel are eligible enough and fit the character bio. So perhaps you're not 16 or 18, but you can play 16 or 18 really well. Cue me on Generations The Legacy. I was 24 when I was playing the role of Lerato Matema. Yes, I was 24 playing a 16, and by the time I'd left the show, 18-year-old. So perhaps you fit the character bio, you fit the description, and you also have the ability and the capabilities to see that character all the way through. That is why it's important to get an agent, because ultimately that information will not get to you if you don't have that person that is literally the key, or rather the way and the bridge to that information. Another reason why I feel it's important to get an agent is that you need to be protected as an artist. I'd mentioned in my previous videos that the lack of access and transparency in this industry creates so much room for young artists to be exploited. Unfortunately, in some instances, they are exploited by the fly-by-night agents that pretend that they care about the well-being of the artist, but are really trying to find cash cows that they can leverage off of. That's why it is of vital importance that when you do get an agent or you seek one out, that you ask the right questions. Send out some emails, make some calls, have a meeting if you're privileged enough, and sit down and let them know what your vision is so they can ensure that they protect you as the artist. You are, in actual fact, the biggest commodity in that space, because if you're not working, technically, they're not working. So they kind of work for you, but also with you. An agent also does something really, really brilliant, and that's read your contracts. I believe as an artist, you need to make it your business to know the business. So while they read the contracts for you and get to understand things and are privy to a lot more information that you may not necessarily have, please do not sit back and wait for them to navigate your career for you, but start reading your contract. Read the information. Acquaint yourself with dialogues and with words and jargon that you may not necessarily had or known privy or prior to them actually being your agent. Exploitation is a real thing, and it plays itself out in many different ways. It could be by financial means, where you're not getting paid the rate that you rightfully deserve, where you are being paid an exposure. I don't know if I can go to the hospital and say, Dumelang, I have a cup full of exposure to pay my bills with. But that's why we thank God for agents, because they can read the contract and read between the lines and ensure that you are paid accordingly and remunerated for your talent. They also ensure that you're working reasonable hours in reasonable conditions, and that you are in spaces and environments that are conducive to your growth as an artist and not simply to exploit you. Sometimes when we go into the industry, we feel like we've got it covered. I'm talented, I've got this thing on lock. And that isn't always the case. The great thing about an agent is that they can be objective in the situation and navigate you through this industry in a way where they understand that they have the information to do so, that they have your best interests at heart, but more importantly, that they're holding your hand along the way. When we get arrogant and we feel like we have the know-hows and we can do it all on our own, we find ourselves in very humbling situations where we have a very rude awakening and ask ourselves, if I just read the contract, if I just read between the lines, if I just shown up for myself in a better way, if I just had someone to make sure that I was at this booking on time, make sure that I knew that I would need to be here on this day, to ensure that I have an audition on this day, that I'm showing up for it, that I'm adequately prepared. So, I've said a very big mouthful on why I feel it's imperative for you to have an agent. This is another truth that people may not always know. Because this agent is working with you and for you, they need to be remunerated as such. So, they have something called a commission or a fee that they take off. Another important disclaimer that I cannot emphasize enough. If you are being approached by an agent, and they say that the upfront fee for you to get bookings, for them to do the work, is 1.5, 500. In order for you to go to this audition, you need to pay them a set amount. I can assure you that they are not real, that they are fugazi, that they are fake, that they are pretentious, that they all kinds of things except for the real deal. I've had so many young people reach out to me and say, Candice, I had an audition for Generations, I had an audition for such and such a thing, and this person made me pay this much amount and they disappeared with my money. So please, like I said, ask the right questions if you want the right opportunities in the right way. If you're gonna get it easy, you're gonna lose it just as well. So, how does the rate work when it comes to paying an agent? They take a fee off of a lot of your bookings, or whatever bookings that you may make. Say you are on the set of Scheme Sum, you are there for 3 days and they pay you a fee of 1.5 per call. In the next episode, we'll be discussing everything to do with call rates. But from this call rate, you have an overall fee that you make. You're going to be taxed. You're going to be taxed 25%. And then after that, your agent will take their rightful fee, and that is the agent's commission, as a sign of gratitude, but also to remunerate them for the work that they've done. So please, liskaba greedy. Don't say that, oh, you don't want to part ways with the 10% of whatever it is that you made. It makes sense. They were there to read your contract, to ensure that you showed up on time, to ensure that you showed up the best way that you could and adequately prepared. So that's my bit on getting an agent. Like I said, sometimes easier said than done, but please keep knocking, keep asking the right questions, keep shooting your shot. The right person who is most suited for you, that is committed to seeing you grow as an artist, will find you and you will find each other. I've already mentioned that I'm a huge advocate for education and also for the right support in order to carry your talent and sustain you throughout your career. One thing, of course, is that this industry is ever-changing and always evolving. We're finding new and innovative ways to find our way and cement ourselves within the entertainment industry. What am I speaking about? I'm talking about online. Social media, your TikToks, your Instagrams, your Twitters, your YouTube. So, will they find you ready? Will they find you working? Will they find you sharpening the skill and the talent? Some of our favorite TikTokers have found themselves on some of your favorite shows, and it goes to show that they were prepared when the opportunity knocked on their door. I will, however, say that it is not enough to think that clout, as I've said before, is enough to cement yourself and carry yourself through your career. If anything, the talent, the skill, and the discipline are absolutely necessary. So, start where you are. Start with what you have. Excuses and growth simply cannot coexist. Some people say, I don't have an iPhone 13, therefore I can't make great videos. I can't do this because I can't submit the self-tape. And a plethora of reasons and excuses as to why we can't show up for our greatest selves. Ask for help where you can and use the resources that are available to you. Make a show reel. We have Instagram reels, we have TikTok. Make little skits. Play with the people around you. Create, create, create. Because you're giving yourself time and energy and the ability to nurture your skill set. One thing that I also say to my students a lot of the time is, online, there are scripts. Unfortunately, South Africans don't have enough scripts online, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to change that. Like, give me 6 more months. We're going to create the archive. But find a script online. It could be a comedic script, a dramatic script, a thrilling script, anything really, and just learn the ability to lift words off of paper and make it uniquely yours, making it uniquely the character. Once you start to nurture those skills and you start to sharpen those talents, I promise you, when the opportunity presents itself, you will be prepared and you won't feel like a fish out of water. So work while you wait. Commit yourself to the process while you wait. Knock on those doors, but ensure that meanwhile, back at the ranch, you are sharpening the skill. I want to say one thing. No two journeys are the same. If you were to sit down 10 of your favorite actors across various shows, films, whatever it is, whatever platform that you affiliate them with, they will tell you different stories. That started off in an academy when they were 10. This person who popped on social media and they're now all over our screens, and many other stories in between. It's about making it uniquely yours, doing the work, committing to the process. This episode, I focus a lot more on the acting industry and how to venture into it as a performer, how to navigate yourself accordingly, how to ensure that you're protected, that you're not exploited. But, and this always makes me a little bit emotional, but I'm gonna try to reel it in. I'm reminded of a time when a young girl sent me a DM. She created a ghost account to protect her identity. And she said, "Candice, I'm in a bit of trouble. Please reply to me." I responded, and she mentioned and detailed a horrific instance where she was taken advantage of by someone who had disguised himself as a casting director. I'd like to believe that this person was disguised. She did conceal his identity, and by the time I was ready to reach out and ask more about who this guy is, if he is in fact a real casting director and he's maneuvering through his industry, taking advantage of young women, she had since deleted her account. I suppose it was a little bit too much for her to confront. I didn't get the full details, and it is absolutely gut-wrenching. I too have been I found myself in compromising situations of that nature, and this is why we do this. This is why we create platforms like this, so that we don't have a young she, he, or they becoming another statistic of someone who just had an overflowing cup of talent and just needed somewhere to pour it into. That is why this is the 5-minute call, to create spaces of transparency, information sharing, to protect the next, and to ensure that all the questions that we had once upon a time, I am here to answer them today. I stand in the gap for you, for your friends, and anyone that you wish to share this with. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, ask more questions. We are here to share them with you. I don't want any more statistics. It stops with me. It's been absolutely amazing with yours truly, Candice Modiselle. It is the 5-minute call, and consider yourself blessed. Are we doing like 3 talk with Nolene Maholwana Sango, or are we doing what? And you know what, I'm gonna do it, because I'm doing it my way. I was about to say ladies and gentlemen. I can't say ladies and gentlemen because it refutes the non-binary community. Previous introductory episode, that's the first episode, no? People, I'm assuming people have watched it. Okay, let's cut.